Hi, my name is Frank Schaefer, and I'm standing on a property where I lived when my son John, who was a Marine, went to fight in Afghanistan twice and once in Iraq. This was at the beginning of those wars. As a Marine parent, my heart is broken for the military family members, my brothers and sisters, who know what it's like to send a child to war beyond a parent's protection. Those who were lost in the Kabul bombing have left grieving parents and wives and children. And today I share their grief in solidarity as a Marine parent. In my mind, my pride for my son's service had nothing to do with politics or even believing, quote unquote, in the wars he was in. I did not vote for George W. Bush. I did not believe in the wars he sent my son to. But I did believe in the United States of America. And one reason I opposed those wars is I believe that we were better than vengeance after 9/11. There were other ways to deal with that situation, but I could be wrong. Maybe invading Afghanistan was inevitable, though I don't believe it was. That doesn't change my pride in my son's service. He stood up and volunteered when none of his friends did. He was one of the few and the proud, and I am proud to be his father. And I grieve with the parents today of those lost Marines. You can be proud of your country, but believe it makes mistakes. And right now, I support President Biden in this hard, almost impossible task of extracting ourselves from a war that George W. Bush started, that Obama presided over and increased our troop strength to 100,000, that Donald Trump tried to end and left on the desk of the next president, Joe Biden, to carry out that ending. Whether you hated these men or loved them or voted for them or worked against them, we can unite as Americans in a time of grief to understand that the fight against radical Islam across the globe is being won by the United States and the rest of the world only because radical Islam is out of favor with 99% of all Muslims around the world who do not support ISIS, who do not support terror as a means for propagating their faith. And we can be glad for the men and women like my son, who when sent into harm's way did their duty out of patriotism and love for their families now that have been deprived of the lives of those Marines who are not coming back. Join me today in love for this country, sorrow at the mistakes we make, solidarity with our military who sacrifice so much, and yes, in prayers for our leaders, including the ones we don't vote for and don't like, stuck with the task of trying to navigate this country through a tough world and a hard time. And we can be thankful that radical terrorist Islam has not triumphed over the faith of Muslims around the world, but they have seen through it and do not support it, and are voting with their feet right now trying to flee Kabul when the Taliban takes over, preferring instead a country that educated young women, that my son defended those young women at schools to give them a chance to be educated. Today, I am so sad and so proud of my family and my son who stood up, so proud of the Marines who served, so sorry that we leave such a mess in Afghanistan after a war that often was not handled right by many people at all levels of authority. But today, let's just reach out to each other as Americans and say, you voted for Trump, I voted for Biden, but let's join together, hands across time and space, in loyalty and love for our country and brokenness at the loss of our grieving military families this day. My name is Frank Schaefer.